Hello, brilliant second graders. This is Miss Flores, and I'm here to do our science lesson. Today is November 4th, and we are starting a new unit. Can you give me a guess what you think our new unit's going to be about? It's about, I'll give you a hint, it is rockin'. That's right. Our new science unit is going to be about rocks, and I can't wait to rock this. So let's go ahead and get started. Our TEK is going to be 2.78 rocks and minerals. So we're going to be talking about rocks, and let's go ahead and talk about some of the things we're going to approach in this unit. The student is going to be expected to observe, describe, and compare rocks by size, texture, and color. So in this unit, we're going to be looking at rocks. We're going to be looking at the size of rocks. We're going to be looking at the texture of rocks, and we're going to be looking at the colors of rocks. So what else are we going to be doing? These are our key concepts. We can describe how rocks differ in size by measuring or estimating sizes. So we're going to be using some rulers in this unit. We're going to be talking about what does it mean to estimate? What does it mean to estimate? We're going to have to be using our observation skills, our eyeballs, to observe different size rocks. We can use our sense of touch to observe, describe, and compare how rocks have different textures. And now we are a virtual classroom, and that's okay. We can still use our eyes and our inferencing skills. We can still use our experiences from touching past rocks to determine the textures of rocks that we're currently looking at. And our last one, we can use our sense of sight, our eyeballs, to observe, describe, and compare how rocks have different colors and visual characteristics. So we're going to be talking about how all the different colors that rocks are. Right? And then some questions I want you to think throughout our unit is, how can we use our senses to observe rocks? What physical properties can we use to describe and compare rocks? Those are some questions I want you to have throughout our unit. Let me go and make myself real big again. I want to take a moment. I want to think about what are some of the things we already know, things we already learned that we can use in this unit. Right? So the first thing I want to recall are physical properties. If you have a big old brain, you might say, Miss Flores, we talked about physical properties at the very beginning of the year when we were talking about matter. We were talking about matter, and we were talking about ways to observe matter. We talked about physical properties. Physical properties are going to be characteristics such as color, texture, and size, right? Those are different physical properties we're going to be looking at whenever we're observing rocks. And we are going to look at a lot of rocks. What are something else that we need to think about? What do we use in order to see physical properties? What do we use in order to determine the physical properties of an object? You might use your sense of touch. You might use your eyeballs, your sight, to help you observe and compare different physical properties of different rocks. So because we're a virtual classroom, you're going to have to use a little bit of your imagination when you're imagining the texture of a rock. And we're going to talk about, what does it mean? What does texture mean? What tools could you use to help you measure rocks? What are some tools that we might use? If you said we might use a ruler, then you're right. We might use a ruler to measure how many centimeters or how many inches a rock is. All right. And so first we're going to be reading an article. We're going to do some vocabulary. And then tomorrow we're going to do a rock activity, which I'm super excited about. So here we are back here. Let's go ahead and get started on our vocabulary. And there is a PDF in Schoology if you wanted to look at these vocabulary cards again. This is just a resource for you. It's just an extra thing. So let's go ahead and look at our first word. Our first word is color. And look at the picture they have with color. What is it? They are different colored gumballs. We have blue gumballs, white gumballs, and red gumballs. Oh my gosh, red, white, and blue. That makes me think of our social studies lesson where we learned about Independence Day and how those are our nation's colors. Let's find out what color means. Oops. Color is the shade you see. It's going to be the shade you see. And color is going to be super important when we're looking at rocks because we need to be thinking about the different colors we see in the rocks. All right, let's keep moving. Geologist. And I'm looking at this picture and I'm going to make some predictions. What do I think a geologist does? What does a geologist do? I'm looking at the picture and I can see that there's a man. He has what looks like a hammer or a pickaxe and he's in front of a bunch of rocks. And I know that our unit's about rocks. A person who learns about rocks. That's what a geologist is. Our next word is rock. What's a rock? That's what we're going to be learning about. And they have a picture of this rock, and it looks like this rock is made up of more rocks. How cool is that? What is a rock? A rock is a solid piece of Earth's surface. Our next word is size. And they showed us in the picture we have two different sizes. We have two different sizes of pencils. We have a pencil on top and we have a pencil on the bottom. You might say the pencil on top is smaller or shorter, and the pencil on the bottom is bigger or longer. Let's find out what they have down as the definition of size. How big or small something is. Our next word is soil, and they have a picture of this soil. I know that soil might be another word for dirt, because I can see there's dirt in this picture. The stuff that covers the land and that plants grow in. Our next word is texture. Texture. So I can see in texture that they have, it looks like someone who's sanding a big old table. How rough or smooth something is. What's texture? It is how rough or smooth something is. And that's it. That's it for our vocabulary. We have all of our words down already. Let's go ahead and start reading an article, right? We're going to go ahead and get started on this article today. And we'll get started on this today. We're going to look at some of the things that I have in this article. And then tomorrow, we're going to finish this article and start on our activity. We are being rock detectives tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start this article, and then we'll finish it tomorrow. So our article starts off with reflect, and it has a picture of two boys that are playing on what looks like giant rocks with water going through it. So let's go ahead and read. Cal and Jake play on the rocks. The river tumbles over them. Jake sits on a ledge. Water rushes over his leg. It splashes his back. Cal laughs from a lower rock. Water tickles his nose. Water has rushed over these rocks for a long time. It has made them smooth. Cal and Jake have to be careful. The rocks are slippery and cold. Have you ever gone camping? Have you ever gone to play in a lake or a river? Like these boys, you probably realize that the rocks are slippery. There might be moss or algae on them. They might be slippery because there's water that's always coming over them. It's made them really smooth and hard to stand up on. So that's it for our article today. We're going to save the rest of this article to read for tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming to our science lesson. You have rocks on the mind now. Tomorrow we are going to be rock scientists, we're going to be detectives, and we're going to look at some rocks ourselves tomorrow. Thank you so much for our science lesson today, students.